Everybody, it's Grant, and today we're going to be going over my $6,500 home renovation. In today's video, we're going to be going over some huge money-saving tips, as well as how I personally do my actual home renovations, and not only how I keep my actual projects on track, but how I keep them on budget as well. Now, come on in, and I'll show you how this project actually came out. Before we do that, let me show you what it looked like before. Before we renovated this property, it looked absolutely not only dated, but dingy. It had ugly, terrible wood paneling that made the property look absolutely dark. It had these terrible Formica countertops that were falling apart, and the bathroom vanity was literally rotting from the outside in. This property went from one of my absolute worst properties to one of my absolute favorite renovations. That's the best thing about real estate. You can literally take, with a little paint and a little know-how, really transform these properties into something to be proud of. Now here we are in this beautiful redone unit, and it looks absolutely amazing. It went from dingy and drab to absolutely fabulous. And I'm telling you, the best part about this remodel is peace of mind and the time that I'm gonna save, because instead of coming and showing this property 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I'll be able to show this property 3 or 4 times in the upcoming weeks, and it'll rent fast. Now, you've seen this property before. It is the units that got us to 30 rentals in our portfolio, but you might recognize it from one of our latest videos, my worst tenant experience ever. This property is not the exact one. This one was the neighboring unit, but the one that was in that video, link in description below, because that video was absolutely fantastic to just see what a terrible experience sometimes it can be to be a landlord. They were hoarding, and there was so much stuff just piled literally to here. The whole kitchen island was just covered in stuff. And we spent $1,500 more on that renovation than this one, because we did have to get rid of all of those things. And just take a look at some B-roll of that terrible experience that we had, and the mountain of trash that kind of resembled the one off of Sparta when they were trying to defend the hot gates. But after that terrible experience, we have now turned this property into something really awesome to be a part of. This property looks nothing like the previous one. And you might also remember in that property video that I got my 30th rental, me and Kayla were trying to figure out what way to go. I wanted to go ahead and paint and kind of spruce it up. Kayla thought, let's just actually do the investment and see how it goes to get some of that money back. And then now that we did this project, she couldn't be happier with the results. Also, me and Kayla also had a conversation about, should we just completely rip it all apart and put back sheetrock? And that's when we got into the noob versus the pro. And in me and Kayla's case, we want these properties to last and look beautiful for the test of time. However, when you start looking at a new real estate investor from a pro real estate investor, the new person wants to spend all this extra money to renovate this entire property from start to finish with sheetrock, all new materials, re-insulate the walls, and change out absolutely everything would be around $20,000 after paint, countertops, the rest. And that's before you open up the walls and really find something that would surprise you. This project cost us $6,500, and it looks absolutely amazing. So let's talk about the painting budget. To paint and prime this entire house, and the reason we definitely had to prime it with one of the absolute best primers on the market is because if you scratch that wall, you don't want to see that ugly paneling again. So this house has literally been painted about 5 times. A few coats of primer, a few coats of paint, and a few more coats of paint to make sure that it was up to my standards. When they came and did this project, they bid it for $5,000 each for the homes. That wasn't gonna fly even through hurricane prices that we've been suffering through here in Louisiana because of the 2 major category hurricanes that came through here and has now made everyone affected. So the labor rate is more of the price of gold these days. And so I got him down to a fair price of $3,750 for each home. That was also including rehanging all the doors, fixing the doors, and making sure that we made this property absolutely perfect. So I know I didn't get my standard 3 bids that we talk about here on the channel all the time as far as the painter, but this painter has done several jobs with me in the past, so he gave me a price, we negotiated down, and both parties felt it was a fair value. One major pro tip for you to make sure your jobs come out right. You have to visit these jobs every single day. You might pay someone that does this every single day, every single week, day in and day out. Like you think, well, they know what they're gonna do, they're gonna handle it correctly. Sadly, that's not the case. They are gonna miss something out of either being sheer lazy or just a simple oversight because it's not their property. You have to come here and inspect it every single day to get what you actually expect. For instance, one thing that I'm still not super thrilled about on this property is they didn't hang the cabinet doors correctly. Some of them are a little off, but I didn't come and inspect it that day, so it's gonna be something we'll have to fix in the very near future. So especially if you are interested in painting paneling, I would say I am a relatively large developer. I am a very large landlord, and this works for me. It works for Kayla and it works for our model. I really think you owe it to yourself to not rip out, but to repaint, and it will look absolutely awesome for you and your portfolio. One thing that we definitely did was we also painted on the inside of the closets. You never want to leave the closets bare and goofy because we have some apartments at this location that the previous landlord did, and when you open the utility closets, it still has the old paneling, even though they have sheetrock everywhere else. It doesn't look terrible, but that's the first thing I'm painting in the new projects when those come available, because it's just weird. You don't want to have a half-done project. Another thing while painting your apartments, there was some spaces that needed some extra caulking to where that would make it look way better than two painted pieces and a gap. Another thing that they missed was right here when you open this oven, they didn't paint where you actually would have opened the door. I think things are like that are goofy, but that's why you have to watch everything at every job. So as far as the paint color, we went with an agreeable gray wall. This is very good for scratches, dings, dents. It looks really nice, and also that beautiful bright white trim really pops and brings the whole room together. So as far as the ceiling goes, the new investor is gonna come rip all the ceiling tiles down and put all brand new ceiling tiles up. Where the pro could just tell the painter, say, look, I also want the ceiling included in the paint price, and they are going to be absolutely good with it, and it's going to come out better than if you would have replaced it. So one major pro tip is this refrigerator was absolutely disgusting. There was rust coming through the panels, and so instead of replacing it, we renovated it. We just ended up getting a can of spray paint, taped it off, and ended up painting the front, and it came out awesome. Now, all the lights in this property cost us $650, and that is with installation of putting them up. And I really think we put them in the right spots, spent the right amount of money in the right areas, and it really brightens the place up. Get it? One of the major expenses of this property was before the paint, before the lights, and before all of the extra touches that we've done. It was the handyman. You've seen George at his best before with the $20,000 renovation. I'll link that video in the description as well, because I'm telling you, if you're enjoying this video, you're gonna enjoy all of these other ones, because we've spent a lot of time trying to share our renovation journeys right here on the channel. And George came in and changed out a ton of trim, shoe moldings, and all other items to make this property prep for paint. And also he changed out things like the vent hood to make sure it looked good, because both of them looked like they had been hit with a sledgehammer. George has definitely come in, earned his keep, and always made us proud here at Navarre Ventures and on the channel. And also where we had that dingy, ugly, nasty vanity, George ended up coming in, having the great idea to rip it out, let them paint all behind it to where you won't have any goofy outlines when you try to put a smaller one back. So one huge money-saving tip is we could have just got a cabinet person to come in and custom build this, but instead we pulled the old beat down vanity out and bought one from Lowe's where it's all one thing, comes with a beautiful countertop, already has the hardware, and it just fits perfect in the spot. And the total with the vanity and all of the other amazing work where he put 3 days, full days, into these properties to get them looking right was $1,200, and I couldn't be happier with the way they came out. So the last part of this $6,500 renovation, the salt to complete the dish, was these beautiful and sturdy granite countertops that are going to last the test of time. I have never used this person before, so me and Kayla went granite shopping all over town and pretty much found what we were gonna do in our next house, more so than we were gonna do in this. These countertops are night and day to the old Formica countertops in the past. I couldn't be happier with the way they came out, and truth be told, one of the neatest things about this, we actually not only did this unit as well as the other unit from my worst experience with a tenant ever, but we also did another unit that's in between these. And she said these beautiful words, "I have never lived in a home with a granite countertop before." And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy real estate. That's one of the reasons that I make sure I do that extra bit for my tenants. That's one of the reasons where you need to know where to save and where you can spend, because that makes the difference and it makes tenants stay with you that much longer. One place that I actually saved some money was where we thought that the outlets would look so terrible. We almost painted them, then we realized that would be a problem. So we left the old dingy yellow outlets, but really and truly, when me and Kayla walked in before we get the electrician to come in, change out all the actual plugs and coverings, we realized it doesn't actually look that bad. And truth be told, it's hard to notice. So when you take the paint budget for $3,750, the hardware budget as well as light budget for $650, the handyman budget where you have the vanity and all of the trim and all of the labor that he put into this property for $1,200, and then you have the beautiful resistance piece, I don't know how you say it, but however you say that, the extra sauce of granite countertops for $900, you get a total of $6,500 for this beautiful, completely transformed renovation. I'm telling you, someone is gonna absolutely love to call this home. The biggest pro tip that I can possibly give you in this entire video is you have to be careful where you spend your money. I spend my money where the tenant will get the most satisfaction and I will get the most durability and quality out of the job. The reason I tell you this, and the reason this is the biggest pro tip, is because if I were to rip out all of the sheetrock, if I were to rip out all of this paneling, put up all this sheetrock and cost me $20,000 a unit in total renovations, we would put another $150,000 into this property that we would never see back. This property is big enough to where it is on a cap rate, where what that means is this property is not valued at the actual real estate, but it's more or less valued on the rents that come in, the net rental income. So no matter what I've done to this property, unless it's going to increase the rents, it will not increase the value. Now, peace of mind, that's one huge thing. Time of renting the unit, instead of having an old dingy paneled property, now I've got a beautiful, vibrant, sturdy, I don't know if you heard that, that was them hard countertops that are absolutely amazing. I'm excited about this place. But now when I get a tenant that comes here, they're gonna be wowed and want to live here versus having to drive out here every single day to beg someone to take the keys. And of course, you never wanna get in that situation because you'll end up with your worst tenant experience ever. And please comment below if you'd like to see a few more renovations to this property, just the things that we're talking about doing, building a fence that will actually dress it up from the road and also give my tenants a lot of privacy. Another thing is gonna be dressing up the road. There's a few potholes that have formed just over the years, and not since I've owned it, but I'm gonna make sure that we get that right because I want the best experience for my tenants. We're also going to repaint it with this very cool asphalt paint that's going to last for quite a while. And then we're also planning on redoing the fascia and hardy board around the actual property itself to give it a beautiful look from the curb. One of the biggest things that I still can't wait to finish, but I haven't had a chance to book a tile person, is to finish this backsplash. So please comment below if you think we should either do tumbled marble, which is a bit more upkeep, or the beautiful and sleek subway tile that has way less maintenance. I feel subway tile's the vote, but I'd love to get your opinion as well. Another great thing that we did here at this project is we salvaged all of the doors. To go buy brand new doors, get them repainted, do all of that would have probably cost us about $800. But because my painter salvaged them, puttied them, and made them come out absolutely gorgeous, it saved a ton of money on this job. And things that you just can't buy at stores, we actually made this new attic access and we just painted it white with a can of spray paint. So that's it for the video, guys. If you enjoy videos like this, please power up that like button, hit that subscribe button, and notification bell. We post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we would absolutely love to see you. And we post every time at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, comment anything you'd like to see in future videos, anything that you like, the money-saving tips, all of the other things that we shared in this video, please comment. And remember, I 100% believe in you. I know you can do anything you set your mind to, and never let anyone tell you any differently. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you on the next one.